If you want a vision of the future, Winston, imagine a boot stamping on a human face forever.
A future where freedom becomes slavery, where privacy is forbidden, the past forgotten, and where living people simply vanish. Yet one man and one woman dare to love.
Can you get Sunday afternoon off?
Yes.
Take this.
Everyone knows. The thing that is in room 101 is the worst thing in the world.
We can't get inside you. We can't get to your heart.
What are your true feelings towards Big Brother?
The head.
You must love him. It's not enough to obey him. You must love him.
One of the major impacts for the book for me was the last line saying, "I love Big Brother," that was said by Winston. And this is a major change from the ideologies that he had in the beginning of the novel. And this shows the true power of change that manipulation has. Emily and her husband are happily married until her husband goes to prison for stalking. Then Emily and this woman named Victoria plan a fake suicide to where he will prescribe Emily these drugs that have the side effect of sleepwalking. She uses this side effect to kill her husband. This evil plot is not really described until the end when everything falls into place, and it brings up the valid point of how we often don't see that we're getting manipulated.
Mr. Glass, nice to finally meet you. And you got no action. You're a disgrace to the profession. That contact you faked with Connor? Weak.
Let me explain. Jane is a government consultant who uses social clues to catch murderers and manipulates them into confessing. He is known as a psychic, and psychics are fake, and they just tell you what you want to hear.
Weak. Bite me. That gag was seamless. You see how she fell for it? Oh, Mama! Mama!
Both of these songs depict relationships where they're very toxic and you can't move on. The first song depicts a relationship where a guy sees through all the lies that the girl has told him. The chorus repeats, "If I didn't know better, but damn it I do. If they didn't know better, they would stay together, but sadly they do."
Oh, I don't love you.
The second one shows the discontent of letting go, but the desire to hold on, which is manipulating yourself from moving on. Lena is in a relationship with Bernard Marx, who is less than happy about his ability to be with anyone. This doubt in the current system lands him in Iceland later in the novel. While they're together, they go to the reservations, which are a place where marriage and family still exist. They meet this man named John, who's a rather handsome savage, and is connected with the place where Lena and Bernard are from. This book has a lot of complex topics, such as genetic engineering, which is where they can make 96 identical people from one embryo. They also subconsciously teach kids in their sleep to learn certain things about themselves and about their society. John and Lena end up getting into a relationship, but since love is not a thing that Lena understands, the novel ends in tragedy.
I'm here today to talk about a disturbing question, which has an equally disturbing answer. My topic is the secrets of domestic violence. And the question I'm going to tackle, why does she stay? The answer is easy. I didn't know he was abusing me. I never once thought of myself as a battered wife.
It sounds hard to believe, but that's what love does to people. Accepting less than ideal situations for the sake of love.
I realized that the man who I loved so much was going to kill me if I let him. So I broke the silence. I told everyone.
There's a fear that normally stops people, and it's hard for people to understand how difficult that can be.
The next step in the domestic violence pattern is to introduce the threat of violence. You know, hey, all this Romeo and Juliet stuff has been great, but I need to move into the next phase where I isolate you and I abuse you.
This is done in such a manipulative way. He convinces her that they need a quieter life for their marriage, proving to her that love might be manipulation.
Women ages 16 to 24 are 3 times as likely to be domestic violence victims as women of other ages. 1 in 3 American women experiences domestic violence or stalking at some point in her life.
These statistics show that you're not alone. You're not the only one going through this. It has been said that something as small as a flutter of a butterfly's wing can cause a typhoon halfway around the world. This means that the littlest things we do affect everything. The main guy goes back to save the girl he loves, but he always makes things worse, until he finally fixes it, but it's cost him something he can't get back. This may be a fantasy application, but it does prove that everything we do changes us. So is everything manipulation?
But what if you could go back in time?
You are completely relaxed. Think of it like a movie. You can pause, rewind, or slow down.
Could you save the one person that mattered the most?
You can't change who people are without destroying who they were.
It's been a while since I cried.
What about Kaylee? Is she all right? If I go back to the beginning, I might be able to save her.
Either you go to America with Mrs. Van Hopper, or you come home to Mandalay with me.
You mean you want a secretary or something?
I'm asking you to marry me, you little fool. And I should be making violent love to you behind a palm tree. Poor darling. Never mind.
Oh, I don't mind.
That's it. That's Mandalay.
It's Lady Caroline de Winter, one of his ancestors.
Oh, well, that's a splendid idea, Mrs. Danvers. I'm very grateful.
Backstory. Maxim had a previous wife. Her name was Rebecca. Miss Danvers favors her. Rebecca wore that outfit last year to the annual party. Maxim gets hurt by this.
Good evening, Mr. De Winter.
What the devil do you think you're doing?
Rebecca's backstory.
Do you think the dead come back and watch the living?
I don't believe it.
Sometimes. I wonder if she doesn't come back here to Mandalay. Watch you and Mr. De Winter together.
Danvers scares Maxim's new wife, who oddly we never know her first name, in an attempt to make her leave Mandalay.
Rebecca has won. Her shadow has been between us all the time, keeping us from one another.
The new wife fears Maxim is still in love with his ex-wife, but
I hated her.
We learn that Max and Rebecca had an arranged marriage, and she had many affairs. Maxim asked her to stop, and she said no. She was with child of one of her lovers, and this angered Maxim.
One hand in her pocket, the other holding a cigarette. She was smiling. Well, Max, what are you going to do about it? Aren't you going to kill me?
Indeed he did. He shot her and sent her off in a boat with holes in the hull. Strangely enough, I wanted him to remain free, despite him being obviously guilty.
She said something that struck me as being very peculiar at the time. When I told her it was a matter of months, she said, "Oh no, doctor, not that long."
But wait, Rebecca lied. She could not have children, and she had cancer. Shocking. They ruled her death as a suicide, and Maxim can go free.
Yes, Mrs. Danvers. I want you to get rid of all these things.
But these are Mrs. De Winter's things.
I am Mrs. De Winter now.
Ooh, burn. Look who just got put in their place. Oh, wait. She's gonna go burn the house down. The main manipulating factor was the assumption that Rebecca was good, but actually it was just an act. This made me think about the people I surround myself with.
At the age of 22, I fell in love with my boss. And at the age of 24, I learned the devastating consequences. Unlike me, though, your boss probably wasn't the President of the United States of America.
I did not have sexual relations with that woman, Miss Lewinsky.
Okay, Mr. President. Then she just got publicly humiliated for nothing. Got it.
In 1998, I lost my reputation and my dignity. I lost almost everything. And I almost lost my life when both of my parents feared that I would be humiliated to death, literally. I know it's hard. It may not be painless, quick, or easy, but you can insist on a different ending to your story.
Humiliation at the cost of our morals. Is that how we see ourselves? As the ugly renditions of our past? The monsters we are to become? Or as the world sees us? I think the main point of manipulation lies right there. Experience dictates reaction. We need to better handle ourselves to be able to control the world we live in. Manipulation is only there if you let it be there.
I'm in rap songs. Almost 40 rap songs.
Correction, 128.
Monica,